It's October 1973, right? Bruce Lee's been gone for 3 months, and there he is on the cover of a brand new magazine, backfisting the heck out of Bob Wall, right? And in recent times, I've been thinking, is this coincidence, right? No, I don't think so. So let's talk about how, my opinion, this is completely my opinion, one image helped to turn a man into a myth. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods of Jeet Kune Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 380. This is the one about what if all this had never happened. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. All right, so I don't have my original copy here with me, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to show you that. And well, let's talk about this first. Okay, so what is this? This is the very first issue of Fighting Stars magazine, October 1973. So it's 3 months or so after Bruce Lee's passing. And like I said earlier, there he is, right? Mid-backfist, hitting Bob Wall, the Uyehara character in the iconic courtyard scene from Enter the Dragon. So this is not just a tribute shot. This is something deliberate. It is a powerful moment of cinematic combat for sure. And now it's immortalized on the cover of a brand new magazine whose purpose is what? It is aimed squarely at growing martial arts fandom. So my question today is, what if this had never happened? What if Bruce Lee's image had not been cemented in time right as the world was watching? So that's what we're digging into. How Fighting Stars and others helped to launch a movement, not just for martial arts fans, but I would say for the myth of Bruce Lee. Okay, so it wasn't a random cover. It was published by whom? Uyehara Publications, which is run by whom? Mito Uyehara, who is a good friend of Bruce Lee's, right? Um, he had been publishing, well, I don't know if it's him, but I know that Black Belt magazine itself had been in publication since 1961, right? Now, Uehara, even here in 73, he had something that perhaps a lot of people didn't have, and that was exclusive photographs of Bruce Lee, taken, I think, in 66 or 67 or whenever, um, somewhat long before Bruce Lee had become like a global star. And those are the photo sessions that would later be featured in what? In, hey, don't fall. This thing here, don't fall, I said. Hang on. My bookshelf is crashing, right? Give me okay, stop. Right? So that's the stuff that came up in Bruce Lee's fighting method, the 66, 67 photographs. And that didn't happen by accident either. So this first issue of Fighting Stars, released just after Bruce Lee's death, and let's see, August, September, October. So 2 months after Enter the Dragon hit the theaters. So it was part tribute, and it was also part what I would call strategic publishing. Okay, so because Uehara, he was not just like a student, right? I mean, he was a savvy businessman, right? So he's like a calculating or calculated curator of a legacy, right? Because when Bruce Lee died, the entire world was stunned. People can tell you where they were when they heard that Bruce Lee had passed away. But within that moment, the way life is, it's a moment of grief, but it's also a moment of opportunity. The martial art world became desperate for more of Bruce Lee. and Fighting Stars delivered, not just the memorial, but kind of like a front seat to Bruce Lee in action, right? So it kind of told the world that Bruce Lee might be gone, but he's still alive, so to speak, and hidden, right? So that iconic magazine cover, it helped to shape the narrative of Bruce Lee as a young man, a legend in motion, and to be honest, because of the right amount of publishing, that legend, you could almost say, to this day, has never faded, right? So, because uh, I got most of them here, right? So, you guys will remember this. You'll remember this. You will remember these, right? Best of Bruce Lee 1 and 2. Um, some of you might remember this, okay? I know all of you remember this, right? And I found this out today, right? Some of you will remember this. I found out today. I actually have 2 copies of that. So all of that stuff was strategic. This is the right publishing that has kind of made sure that Bruce Lee's legend has not faded, right? So here's like real talk. We love the philosophy, we train the drills, the techniques or whatever. We honor the man. But the Bruce Lee phenomenon, these books, the t-shirts, right? The wall posters, okay? YouTube clips ultimately, that wasn't just by spirit alone, right? And my good friend, dentist and student Doc, he and I have a ongoing discussion about that. It was not by spirit alone. It was built by media. It was built by like strategic timing of the media effort, and by people like Mito Uyehara who understood how to package memory into something that is a little bit more marketable. So that issue of Fighting Stars laid the groundwork. Over in the United Kingdom, this is what was going on. Kung Fu Monthly. This started Dennis Publishing. I forget the name of the guy, right? But this started in 1974. Okay, and I was talking with my other client Amy today, that because England was closer culturally to Hong Kong than Los Angeles, California would have been to Hong Kong because of the whole British colony stuff, right? I think it was easier for uh, Kung Fu Monthly to get access to like the pictures and that type of stuff, right? So that's what was going on in the United Kingdom, while Fighting Stars had been running for a few months or so in the States. Okay, so Fighting Stars comes a couple of years later. We have the Tao in '75. Then I think Bruce Lee's fighting method was what, '76 or '77 or something, right? But a lot of it started with a deliberate choice to keep Bruce Lee on the shelves, to keep Bruce Lee in print, to keep Bruce Lee on people's minds. So, what if, let's get back to the core question, what if this had never happened? What if Fighting Stars had never launched when it did? What if no one had made an effort to build Bruce Lee's legacy, dare I say, while his passing was still fresh? Would the Tao of Jeet Kune ever have been published? Would Jeet Kune itself, the art, the practice of Jeet Kune, would it ever have made would it ever have made it out of Los Angeles? Okay. Would the next generation, like my generation, we're not talking about today's generation, that's a different topic. My generation, right? The second generation people, would we even have known who Bruce Lee was? Well, we would have, because we were in the islands getting kung fu films, because we were British colonies also. So we would have known who Bruce Lee was. But the legend of Bruce Lee, right? I don't know. That Fighting Stars thing, that was a pivot point. And it helped to build legacy. And sometimes, and this is where Doc and I differ in opinion, I think that some people think that legacy is organic. In the case of Bruce Lee, I don't think it is. Some people think that the world just recognizes greatness when it sees it. But I don't know, man. I think legacy is built, and in Bruce Lee's case, it was built deliberately through the photographs, through the books, through the stories, right? As everything grew and people who trained with him became well known, and a lot of that was good business, was like smart distribution. So the Fighting Stars cover was not, it wasn't a coincidence, right? It was like a calculated thing, okay? Igniting the legacy that has gone on and on and on. So here's what I want you to think about, because I don't want people to misunderstand what the point that I'm making, right? Bruce Lee trained harder than a lot of people. He thought more deeply than a lot of people. And when it came to martial art movement, he was a lot better than a lot of people. But his legend, his global recognition, right? International superstardom, that was not just his efforts. That came from people who knew exactly how to frame him in the public eye. So do not get this twisted. Am I glad it happened? I'm gladder than most, right? That it happened. Because had it not happened, would I be sitting here in front of a camera and a microphone now talking to you guys? I don't think so. Not if that image had never been printed, right? So this is, by no means is this supposed to be construed as me like trying to diminish the impact of Bruce Lee. That's ridiculous. I'm just looking at it from an angle of how it came to be, and essentially saying it was not organic, right? Okay, so um, thanks for hanging out with me on this issue of the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. If I gave you something to think about, let me know in the comments below, because that's all I am going to say in this video. In fact, if you can remember, I'd really like to hear from you guys. Can you remember the first time that you saw Bruce Lee on a magazine cover? Not in the movies, right? Because we pretty much know for most people, for a lot of people, it would have been Big Boss. But can you remember the first magazine cover that you saw Bruce Lee? Of course, the diehard fans would have seen him in 67 or 71 or whatever. I'm talking about after he passed. After he passed, can you remember the first magazine cover that you saw Bruce Lee on? Okay. All right. That is it for me for today. Let me ask you guys to um, check out the Rebel Gear store, small store, over at rebelgear.printify.me. Right, that stuff will grow and grow as I find the time to add products to it. If you would please go to paypal.me/unified Miami, paypal.me/unified Miami. That's where you can get a copy of the raw but edited Jeet Kune Journey Volume 1. Um, I just got a thing here that said something went wrong. Please try again. So I'm not sure what that is, right? If you've not yet gone over to Jeet Kune Drills here on Facebook, please like and follow that page so that when it's up and running, you'll know what's up. Um, this GoFundMe page is set up for the wife of my student, Wayne Quinton, down in Barbados. This is to help her in her fight against breast cancer. So if you would check that out, I would appreciate it if you make a contribution there. What else? The Jeet Kune Quick Skills Jun Fan Kickboxing Volume 1. And this is over at Gumroad, the Jeet Kune Rebel, the Jeet Kune Rebel.gumroad.com/L. Oh shoot, I can't even remember the thing. So I'll put it up later in post production. I can't remember the URL for that. And that's it. So I am on the road on Friday, but if I get to California in time, that we will definitely have an episode of the Jeet Kune dialogues, right? So when I finish with you guys here, I'll go ahead and put that up. I have all the times calculated. It should not be a problem at all. Okay. So that's it. All right. So you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. You guys take care, and we will talk soon.